Well, good evening. Welcome back to Cannon Fodder, one of the first segments of the week fan comments with my good host and Richard from Arsenal TV. I think it's a little bit cold on the coast, isn't it, Richard?
Yeah, man. The weather is today the weather down here, it's been very, very cold. I think the highest temperature it got down here has been 6.
Wow.
Hasn't got higher than that. So yeah.
Well, make sure you wrap up warm anyway. So yeah, those
the only reason why my my players' ratings went up today is only because I wasn't well yesterday, so that's why my players' ratings went up. That's why it went up tonight. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, those of you who are not familiar to Cannon Fodder TV, and especially fan comments, every Monday I'm joined by Richard. Usually we do like a 5:30 UK PM start. It's like an hour late. We both had lots of things to do, and we do apologise for coming in so late on fan comments and on Cannon Fodder TV, the channel for Arsenal fans all over the world. So, Richard, do you want to go first, or should I go first?
I'll go first, and this comment is from one of our locals, and it's from Aaron LaGroche, and he says, I somewhat agree. The defence is bad. No one would deny, but I still believe we have the best attack in London. We aren't playing to our strengths, and I also sometimes feel that.
I think it's like an age-long situation with Arsenal.
Yeah,
that was so good. You know, we've been blessed with fantastic strikers over the last, I think maybe a generation and a little bit more. But it's always the midfield and defence. And I was thinking the other day, what combination would be the best combination that could suit and stop leaking goals at the back? Bellerin's currently out, isn't he? He's injured, isn't he?
Yes. I don't know exactly when Bellerin is going to be back. I'm hoping he'll be back for the Brighton game, hopefully.
If I had to be not controversial, but for me, I think there's only maybe one player in defence who would warrant a start every single game, and that's Kieran Tierney.
Yeah.
Kieran Tierney. I can't think of anybody else. Who else is there?
I think Rob Holding. I think he deserves a chance because at the moment I would definitely take Socrates out because in the past couple of games Socrates has been absolutely dreadful. So I'm just surprised in why Rob Holding is not getting selected more. David Luiz, I think he was more of a panic buyer, and I reckon that Arsenal will probably end up getting a centre back for the long term. But yeah, I don't know. I think if it was me, my best backline at the moment would be Bellerin, Holding, Chambers, and Tierney. That would be my best backline.
Chambers didn't have the best of games, did he? Probably one of his worst, to be honest.
No, he didn't have that one of those best games. I think it was his pace that let him down a couple of times. But yeah, I don't know. I think even the whole game against Norwich, I think that we just lacked that bit of cutting edge, and I think that this is where Pepe could have came on really.
You reckon we lacked the cutting edge? I think it was more in defence. The defence is all over the place. Over the place. I think Ljungberg or whoever is at Arsenal, please just drill the defence. Drill them day in, day out until they're sick and tired. I mean, David Luiz for me in the midweek, he played very, very well. I was actually surprised to see him playing, against Norwich City. I thought he had like some damage to his ribs or something. But for me, I don't see David Luiz as an upgrade. He was a panic buy. Saliba, I know he's yet to come in next season, but only one player in the defence really, for me, warrants a steady position over a number of period of time. Kieran Tierney. Holding maybe a push, but apart from that, no, real troublesome problems there. All right, so
the only thing is our defence has always been a problem for years. It's always been a problem, but our defence are not being drilled I just think that we need someone to come in, like the likes of Tony Adams, Martin Keown, someone
Lee
to come
Dixon.
in to actually, someone like that to come in and actually defend, like to train this defense. Because what they should do, like in terms of defense, what they need to do is that when one person moves, they go with them, that at that same distance. That is how that at one point during the Norwich game, I think in the first 10 minutes, I think we were sort of doing it, but I don't know what it was that completely shut it off.
But I've said so many times, if you look at David Luiz,
yeah,
he backpedals right until he reaches the penalty area. Try and attack the attacker or show him away. Don't, one tackle in the penalty area, it gives them the advantage.
Yeah.
I'd far rather that he makes a tackle, outside the penalty area or show them away from the goal. But
yeah,
what do you think about Mustafi? Do you think Mustafi had such a bad game? I've just been seeing people saying that he didn't have a good game. I thought he didn't play too bad. I don't think he played too bad.
I think in the first 20 minutes, I don't think he was that bad in the first 20 minutes. But I think it was soon as that first goal went in, that's where his head dropped, and I think that's where he lost it. But apart from that, I don't think he had a good game at all, apart from those first 20 minutes.
Yeah. No, I think it's my turn anyway. And actually, my comment goes on to talk about Bellerin, and it comes from Reese Sato, who says, I hope Bellerin comes good because over the last 2 years, he has shown he can't kick a ball. Passing fine, running, but he's a professional footballer who can't kick. Well, he didn't play, against Norwich, but he's not the same player. He's not. I mean, I think he's lost some of his pace.
Yeah.
But again, he can't cross the ball. He can't cross the ball. And that's what I'm saying. I think just drill the players, drill them until they're sick and tired. Because I'm sick and tired of the defense always letting us down.
Yeah. I am as well, and to be honest, I think if it wasn't for Aubameyang and our attack, we would be in relegation by now. And I think at the moment, if Arsenal don't start picking up the 3 points, I think that's where we will be.
Yeah.
It's a dog fight at the minute. That's what it is.
It looks more like a savage, a massacre at the moment than anything else. Which I think is your turn.
This next comment comes from Arsenal Vlogs, Luca, and he says, we better not get the Wolves manager, otherwise I'm done. And I think he was referring to the voice of reason.
Yeah. Would you have any qualms if Espirito Santos came at Arsenal, or you're not? Because the last time we spoke, Unai Emery was still the manager, and a lot happens. Things change very, very quickly in Arsenal. So I'm sure you must be very, very happy that Unai Emery is no longer the coach at Arsenal, Richard.
Do you know what? It's not that I'm not I'm happy that he's gone. It's more of less that I just think that Arsenal was too big of a club for him. That's the way I look at it, and I think that it was more or less that he was. I don't know. I just think that his instructions just wasn't that great. Even his team selection like baffled me at times. Even his substitutions, and I think that, at times I was thinking to myself, "Are you trying to get yourself fired?" That at times that's what I was thinking. But it was the Leicester game that made me say, "Do you know what? No, he has to go."
Well, I'm glad you mentioned about his team selection, because Freddie Ljungberg's team selection, for me, was very, very strange, and it had some kind of hint of Unai Emery. I mean, Chambers, Mustafi, David Luiz, Kolasinac, Xhaka, Guendouzi, Willock, Ozil, Aubameyang, and Lacazette. So even Freddie Ljungberg's team selection left a lot to be, more to be desired, because I was thinking Kolasinac, unless Kieran Tierney is injured, or why would he not play Kieran Tierney? That 11 there, for me, it was uninspiring, Richard. So you talk about Unai Emery's team selection. Freddie Ljungberg hasn't just come into Arsenal; he's been at Arsenal and Unai Emery's number 2 for quite a while. So that team selection there was very, very strange and very uninspiring. And at the end of the day, we got what we deserved because the 11 there, where was Pepe?
Yeah.
Where was Torreira? Why didn't Torreira start?
Yeah. I think in a way we work better in a 4-2-3-1. And that we work better. For me, I think we would work better in a 4-3-3. That's what I think. But then maybe, does anyone use a 4-4-2 formation anymore?
Why not? Why didn't, like you said before, we need to get back to basics.
Yeah,
get back to basics rather than changing the formation.
I would have thought now Freddie Ljungberg coming in, and he knows Arsenal very well from his playing time.
Yep.
I would have thought that he might have gone with the old-fashioned 4-4-2 formation. I think we've got the players to play a 4-4-2. But it's just, if you're going to have Torreira and Xhaka in that middle, if you're going to play a 4-4-2, then Ozil might have to go out on the wing. But then you think, well, how's Pepe going to come in?
Yeah,
because either one of those two has to go onto the flank, and it's not. See, that's why I'm saying that a 4-4-2, we might have to go back to basics. And I think for me, I think our best formation is a 4-3-3.
Yeah. Listen, I know Freddie Ljungberg. He's tried to do his best. In a very short space of time.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't want to give him the job. He's an Arsenal legend, and what happens if things go wrong? I don't want him to get the job, Richard. And I think the job would be too big for him. Bring like someone not too far away, maybe Chris Wilder, the Sheffield United manager, or maybe Carlo Ancelotti. It has to be a big name. I know there's been a lot of speculation about Brendan Rodgers, but he said in his press conference that he does have a release clause, but Leicester have not given an indication that they're not happy with what he's doing so far. And so why would he want to move from Leicester City, where are they, second?
Yeah, the second, yeah.
Why would he want to move from there to come to Arsenal?
I don't know. It is baffling. I would see, for me, I would possibly go for someone who's Premier League proven. That's personally what I would go with. Brendan Rodgers, yes, he's Premier League proven, but are Arsenal going to pay his release clause in his contract?
Everyone has their price.
Yeah, and then you look at Pochettino. I wouldn't mind taking him in. I really wouldn't, because I think that Pochettino will get us organised. He would have a structure for us. And I think if it wasn't for Pochettino, I don't think Tottenham would be where they are, and they wouldn't have been above us for so many years.
Yeah.
Pochettino went to a Champions League final without buying no one in the transfer window.
Yeah.
So I think that sort of Arsenal was buying players, but yet we still can't get into Champions League.
A good point. Listen, anyone who's just come into a live stream, we're streaming on Facebook as well as Twitter. I've got Richard with myself, the co-host on Fan Comments every Monday at 5:30 UK time. We're just going through the comments that's happened over the last week, featuring the Norwich game as well as the Eintracht Frankfurt, although we haven't spoken about that game just yet. Make sure you subscribe to the channel on all platforms, Facebook, Twitter, as well as YouTube. This will be going up on YouTube later on tonight. Share the content and also hit the notification button so you can receive all the latest and greatest news. Yes, the greatest news right here on Canfoy TV. But before we go on, also, Richard's making his way to 1,000 subscribers. Richard, what's the number count now?
825.
Right, so there you go. Slowly but surely, we're going to see the older Freddie Ljungberg look. Freddie Ljungberg.
And I am thinking of doing that.
Well, you have to do it, Richard.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So, whose turn is it? Is it your turn or is it my turn?
Your turn.
Right, okay. Let's have a look. Right, I've got Terry Hogan, his old channel favourite here on Canfoy TV. And he says, Emery wanted to buy Banega a tall, powerful central defensive midfielder. So he was our coach. And despite an input into who the club brought, the final decision was never his. Stupid system, can't see any elite manager doing the same thing. I think whether we had, Banega, Everett Banega, or we've got currently Lucas Torreira, for me, it's such an enigma. Why would you not play him in his accustomed role, which is a defensive midfielder sitting just in front of the back four? Why would you not play him in that position? When he plays for his international team, you don't see him marauding forward, playing in the number 10 role or on the wings.
No.
He sits back defending the defense. For me, it's just such an enigma. Where did he play on Saturday?
I've got no idea, Al. I've got no see. For me, I would play Torreira week in and week out, long as he's in his actual position doing his job. I think he's one of our best defensive midfielders since the likes of Gilberto Silva.
Yeah.
He's been one of our very best. And if Arsenal risk losing him, then we're back to square one again.
Yeah, yeah. You're a champion of Matteo Guendouzi as well, aren't you? You like him, don't you?
Matteo Guendouzi, he's a good player.
Yeah.
And he is showing some good potential, but I'm not an overly big fan of Guendouzi. Because I noticed in the Norwich game, Guendouzi was falling around quite a lot. And he gave away too many passes as well. So, yeah, I'm not an overly big fan of him, but he does show potential that he could be a good player.
Yeah. Which I've been saying to my brother for the longest time, but anyhow. Rich, I think it's your turn, isn't it?
Yeah, I've got one from Aaron Agosh again, and he says, I do not know what Mustafi does in training because he happens to be the person of choice when a new coach comes. I don't know why Holding isn't chosen.
Yeah, we said that, didn't we? Holding.
Yeah.
Unless someone can come into the chat and tell us, if Holding has some kind of injury problems, why is he not featuring? Why does he not play? Why is he not there?
I don't know. The way Holding plays, he seems to be the person that feels more comfortable. He's not scared to have the ball at his feet. He's not scared to take the ball into the midfield and lob it long. He reminds me of Tony Adams in some sort of sense. When he's playing, he does command. He's very commanding at that centre back. And Mustafi's always been the same. He's always been the same. Maybe that they're choosing Mustafi over Holding because Mustafi is a German international and Holding is not an English international yet. But I think Holding is better than Mustafi.
No, but I remember you saying, Richard, and I think Amube had to come into the chat. You were saying on current form at that time, why not bring Mustafi back into the Premier League? Because he's still undefeated in all the games that he's played. Arsenal have not lost. Well, apart from but on form, Mustafi probably deserved his place in the Premier League in the first team.
Yeah, he did, but he's still given away the lumsy goals like he has done, and it's frustrating.
Oh, dear me. Anyway, I think it's my turn, isn't it?
Yeah.
My turn. And I've got Mube Guna. And he's just referring to the sacking of Unai Emery. He says that I agree with IG. We need to see a structure from Freddie. Be proactive, not reactive. Be Arsenal, not Stoke. And then he goes on to say further on, Emery's ego got him fired at PSG and got him fired there. He lied to fans over and over. His treatment of players were disrespectful, to say the least. But everyone thinks he's been right to do so. Yeah. Personally, I think it's been the other way around. You imagine all the egos that was at PSG at that time. that he had to do with all those players there. I think it wasn't so much his ego that got him fired, Mube. I can't agree with that, what you're saying there. But again, it's your opinion.
Look, I just think what got Unai Emery sacked was the lack of results and the lack of performances. That is what got Emery sacked.
It wasn't, he lied to the players, and it was his ego. I can't see Unai Emery has someone having an ego. But it's your turn. Your turn.
You've basically just read my last comment. That was
I always do that, don't I?
I know. But no, I think, to be honest, I think it was the results and the performances that got Emery sacked. I don't think it's nothing more than that. I think that when Lacazette got the equaliser at Southampton, I think that he made Emery just hang on to his job for one more day. And then it only had to take a loss against Frankfurt to say, do you know what, he's got to go. He's not the right man. Look how many performances we've had where there's games that we should have won, but we've been drawing and we've lost.
Yeah.
So I think that it was the performances and the results that made Emery get the sack, which it was rightly done.
Yeah, I totally agree. What else? I've got one more actually. So just bear me a second. Yeah, Screenboy8, who says, I stood by Emery for longer than most, but I do think Arsenal made the right decision. Come on, you Gunners. And then Aaron Ghost says, just hope that doesn't become a trend that brings down our level of our clubs, big or small. That changed managers at the drop of a dime. I found a lot of confusion at times, bordering on stupidity, I think. Yeah, my personal point of view is, Richard, I think, once we have a manager or a coach comes in and we have a string of bad results. I mean, look what happened. Freddie Ljungberg on Twitter. People were saying Ljungberg out. Ljungberg out.
I disagree with the fans that have been digging Freddie out after one game. The fans need to realize that Freddie Ljungberg only had 48 hours. He's only had one training session. It's not like he's had the pre-season and he can implement his instructions and everything else. He's only had one training session. And I think the only way that Freddie is going to get better to implement his stuff and how he wants Arsenal to play, he has to slowly build on it game by game and one training session at a time.
But like you say, I think we do need to have some of the old heads, whether it's like a Martin Keown, Tony Adams, really to rake up these players there. Because for me, that to be controversial, I just don't think the squad is good enough. The squad is not good enough. We're really, trying to figure out our best back four. The squad is not good enough. And I think it's going to take a Keown or a Dixon to knock some heads together.
Yeah.
Get rid of some of the players and bring some real quality players. But the squad is not good enough.
No, I'm just thinking. Do you know what's best? I know people will slate Granit Xhaka, but do you know what? I don't think he had that much of a bad game against Norwich.
He didn't. He played quite.
He didn't. He played quite decent.
Yeah.
And I think that the formation for Granit Xhaka, I think, was wrong. Because if you're going to have Granit Xhaka at the back, he needs to be protected. And if he's the only person there, his pace is not quick enough to track the player before that opponent gets to our defence. He's not the player. You need someone like Torreira who's quick, who knows how to protect the back line. That would have been the best person to sit back. Let Granit Xhaka get in front, then he can spread the balls out wide or whatever like he normally does.
Yeah.
But I think that formation for Xhaka was wrong yesterday.
Yeah. I personally, I would prefer to see Xhaka a little bit further up the field, not too deep, because like you said, he doesn't have enough pace. His awareness is not really good. You know, so I prefer to see him, in a much advanced role in the pitch there. But
Granit Xhaka doesn't have that defensive awareness to what Lucas Torreira does. Lucas Torreira is a natural defensive midfielder. Let him do that job.
All right, let's get into the chat. There's just been a few comments here. I've got an IG in the chat. He says, "Hi guys, I'd like to ask Richard if Freddie Ljungberg is offered the permanent job, how long will he back him? Now, how long would you back him?
Well, first and foremost, I will say that Freddie Ljungberg, I don't think he should have a permanent job. I don't think he needs it for the short term until a manager comes in. Yeah, by all means. But if he does get the gets the permanent job, then I will back him. But I want to see improvements. I have to see improvements. If I don't see a structure, if I don't see us organised, it's exactly the same as to what we were, then I can only go as far as I can see.
Okay. But I mean, we don't really know how long Arsenal are going to give Ljungberg this position.
Yeah.
I mean, from what I've read so far, they're not in a rush to try and appoint a long-term coach. So how long would you give Freddie Ljungberg? Would you give him until the end of the season? Or
to be honest, I think giving Freddie to the end of the season will be best bet, because I think that's the important time that Arsenal will be looking into a permanent manager to bring in for the next season.
okay.
Which, for me, even that I think is a risk. I think that if you want the manager that you want and your number one target, go and get him now before it's too late. Because I mean, if the runner performances and the runner form is going right now, and then we're near to the bottom of the table, who's going to come in?
Yeah. And also, I'm thinking as well, as a coach, you've just seen Unai Emery just get 18 months. I think for me, my first question would be, how long are you going to give me to sort this situation out?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's the situation is really it's not good.
Well, Al, as we know, that the club actually gave Unai Emery 2 years and an extension to a contract, but the board wasn't seeing improvements. They weren't. It just proves by the performances and the results. That's the reason why Emery was sacked. So what they done, they saw it and they act upon it. But I think it was a bit too late. They should have done it sooner. They should have done it at the international break. Because if they'd done it at the international break after that Leicester game, then Freddie would have had more time to organise this team because he would have had more training sessions before our next game.
Okay. I'm just betting one thing. I just think it wasn't Unai Emery. I think it's the players. I referenced before, I just don't think the squad is good enough. That's my opinion. You know, we're scratching our heads to try and find out, which is the best combination, in defence. The midfield has to be definitely Tierney has to be penciled in. Torreira has to always play in a defensive midfield role. Then maybe you can say Lacazette and Aubameyang. And apart from that, who else, Richard? I just don't think the squad's good enough, Richard.
I don't think we have enough depth.
And that's the problem.
We don't have enough depth to be competing in the Champions League places. I just don't think we have. And what I am sort of annoyed with is Lacazette's performances recently haven't been that great.
Yeah.
Aubameyang has been playing better than Lacazette, but Aubameyang's been put on the wing. That's annoying.
But then, Richard, why don't people slate Lacazette? Why did they not call him up? Why did they not call him out?
I think the reason why is because he works hard. He does track back. His work rate is pretty top notch. But when you need a player to step up, who's supposed to be your striker, it's your winger that's doing the job.
Yeah.
In the games where you need performances, or should I say, where you need results, that is trying to, get us out of trouble. It was Aubameyang that stepped up like the captain that he is.
Personally, I would drop Lacazette. I think his performances of late. Yeah. I know he scored a brace, against Southampton, but his performance, for me, it hasn't been that fantastic. It hasn't really been that good. And so I would bring in Martinelli. He's always in his mind. He's always thinking to go forward.
Yeah,
take the attack to the opposition. So
I think that even against Norwich, I think Martinelli done better when he came on to what
in
all
those
the
few
other
minutes,
players did.
yeah, he
Yeah,
did.
in those last few minutes.
Hmm.
Obviously, I didn't rate Martinelli because there wasn't really enough time to impact the game to get us that win. But this is where I'm now thinking that I would actually drop Lacazette and I would actually put Martinelli out on that left-hand side and put
Yeah,
Aubameyang more central.
yeah,
We're
yeah.
not playing to these players' strengths.
Hmm.
Aubameyang is not a winger. He is a central striker.
Hmm.
Nicolas Pepe, every time that he's been playing, we're not getting the ball quicker to him. If
Hmm.
anything, Pepe is more facing towards his own players and getting forward because he wants to know where is the ball.
Why didn't you play on Saturday?
I don't know. It could be something in training that Freddie is seeing. I don't know.
Hmm.
Because Freddie Ljungberg said that he's going by what he's seeing in performances and training.
Okay.
So the only person that knows would be him.
Yeah. Let me get back into the chat and rack off all these comments here. Lewis John, I recognise. Highlights and Richard Shaka did play well in Norwich. Yes, he did. He did.
He did. Yeah.
And then Chris, that's your mum. Highlights
Yeah.
and Richard. I've got another one here from IG. Listen, guys, listen. I'll give a shout out to IG. Make sure you go over and also subscribe to his channel. Again, high octane stuff. If you want to keep a breath of what's going on at Arsenal, really, go over there and subscribe to IG's channel.
I would like to know who's his sources.
I'm gonna tweet to him. What's your sources? Where it gives you his information. He said that we always talk about if there wasn't Aubameyang, we would have been in relegation. Him and Lacazette were the only people or players who play certainly in the Premier. It's their job to score goals. Why are they entitled to a special category? It's their job to score more. This is why they are there in the team. But IG as well, I always think that they get a pass. If they don't play well, people don't call them out. You can't have one rule for one and then another rule for. If they don't play well, they need to be called out equally as if Mustafi has a bad game. We will say that he's had a bad game, but I just get a funny feeling that Aubameyang and Lacazette, they get a pass, and that shouldn't be the way. It shouldn't be the way. Right, quickly one more. He also got to say that 4-4-2 is used by Carlo Ancelotti at Napoli. Zidane uses it at Real and times with a midfield diamond. So, like I said, why don't Arsenal get back to basics, play 4-4-2? Why not?
And it was a 4-4-2 formation that got us the invincible season.
There you go. There you go.
But the only thing here is we had the right personnel in that 4-4-2. And I'm just thinking, do we actually have the right personnel? If you're going to play Aubameyang and Lacazette, yes, I think we have got the right personnel. But then where does Pepe come in? Where does Ozil come in? Where does your creativity come from? If you're going to have two defensive midfielders in the middle, it has to be Torreira, and I would bring in someone else in January, like Wilfred Ndidi from Leicester.
You know what? When I looked at, was it the game with Liverpool in the Champions League? For me, Koulibaly, he was so, and that is the kind of central defensive that we want at Arsenal. Someone who's so commanding, so physical. None of the back four can equal Koulibaly. That's the kind of central.
I agree.
Fantastic. I just saw him just like, with Saha, just push him off the ball. Those are the kind of players that we want. Big, muscular, strong, and fast. We're so soft. We're so soft. Norwich, Southampton, they come play at Arsenal because they know that we are so easy, to push over.
To get out. Yeah, we are.
Anyway, just a couple more chats here. Sorry, did you want to say something, Richard?
Yeah, no, it was a good one that my mum just said. She put bring back George Graham. Now, me and my mum had a conversation about this, and like she said, like sort of bring him back as a manager. But I was thinking that, but he wouldn't be the same as he used to be. But I would say if you wanted to bring him in, bring George Graham in to train the defense. Because George Graham, when he was under Arsenal as the head coach, what he worked from the goalkeeper and defense. Whatever was in front, that was fine. Long as he had a solid defence and they knew when to go, when to come back, and what distances, whether to go left, right, long as they was in that line, it was fine.
Richard, have you seen the documentary '89 when we beat Liverpool? 1989 documentary.
No, I haven't yet. Yeah, I haven't yet.
Because it gives the backstory. You know, when George Graham came in, what he did, and the first thing he did, he got rid of all the luxury players at Arsenal, and then he got to work with the defence. You've got to watch the documentary. So if we were to bring back George Graham, you know, Chris, he would get rid of quite a few players, luxury players.
Yeah, probably the likes of Lacazette,
I'm not mentioning anybody's name, Richard.
Yeah. Well, would you not say they are like sort of our luxury players?
Yes, they are. Yes, they are. We can't afford to have any luxury players. Everyone has to pull their weight. Everyone. So yeah, I would love George Graham to come back. Love him. But I think as well he would bring Tony Adams, Dixon, maybe Keown, all those ex-players.
Sol Campbell could possibly.
There you go.
But I know he's currently in the job at the minute. He's at Southend.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. All right, quickly get back into these last few chats here. I agree. Bring back George Graham to Arsenal. I've just got there's been a chat here who says apparently Richard, Tony Adams is doing the FA Cup draw now.
Yes, he is. He is. Yeah.
Didn't realise. Okay, Mube says Lacazette been bad this season for sure. He's my guy and he needs to fix up. Yeah, he's your guy, Mube. As is Özil. Özil hasn't, he hasn't lit up the world. You know what I mean? But that's going to be a story.
Then again, I think Özil didn't really have that much of a bad game against Norwich either. He created quite a few chances for us, but they just didn't come off.
Yeah, no, we can debate that. And he goes on to say that I really want Scott, Dan from Brighton, really like him. Oh, okay. So last year, Mube mentioned Kieran Tierney, as he just pulled another one out from the hat as well. Scott Down.
Do you know what? Scott Down, he's actually quite a good player for Brighton. I would also take Lewis Dunk as well. So I think he's quite a good defender as well.
Right. So we'll look out for these two names. So today is now the 2nd of December. We're going to look out for Scott Dan and Dunk as well. Last two chats. Sorry, no, not as a coach, but on the board, I will be happy with. Okay, right. Abba is not a luxury player. Laka maybe. Abba does his job when he plays up front. Well, yeah, but he's not. For me, he's not captain material. He's not captain material. When he's not performing, you want to see the captain. Trying to organise the players. He's not captain material, but you can't blame him for that.
No,
because Emery gave him the armband, didn't he? So,
if there was someone I would possibly give the armband to, I'd give it to Kieran Tierney.
There you go.
Because Kieran Tierney was captain for Celtic as well at times, and he's also been captain for his national team.
There you go.
So why not? He's a leader of men, and because he plays where Tierney plays in that left back role, he will be able to see who's in line with him and who's not, and then I think he'll be quite a commanding captain.
That is a really good call, Richard. There we go. We've got our captain, and I think maybe a vice captain could be Rob Holding. No, I wouldn't give it to Bellerin.
Why not Lino?
That could be, yeah. There you go. Tierney captain, vice captain Leno. Good call, Richard. Good call. Good call. Listen, we're going to wrap up this segment of our fan comments every Monday with my co-host Richard from Arsenal TV, who's making his way to 1,000 subscribers. He's currently on 825, 200. That came from. And when he does reach that landmark, he's going to do the Freddie Ljungberg thing in the middle. I wish I could do that, but I haven't got any here currently. Guys, again, if you're just watching fan comments on Canal 4 TV, make sure you subscribe on all platforms, Facebook, Twitter, also on YouTube. Hit the notification button and share the content. Richard, do you want to say anything else before we finish?
Yeah. What's everyone's thoughts on our next fixtures that we've got?
That's a good point, actually. Our next game is against Brighton, isn't it?
Brighton on Thursday, and then I believe we've got West Ham at the weekend, and then we've got Standard Liège, our last Europa League game, and we need to win that one. And then I believe we've got Man City and then Everton as our last. That is our next 5 games.
Yeah. Dear. Well, listen, we've got to remain positive. You know, having a negative attitude is not going to work for us. You know, but again, those of you who came into the chat, you know, thank you so much on all platforms on Twitter as well as Facebook. This segment will be uploaded on YouTube later on this evening. Richard, again, thank you so much for being my co-host and taking the time out to do this with me. If you've been wondering who or what you've been watching, you have been watching Cannon Fodder, the channel for Arsenal fans all over the world. Come on, Freddie. Come on. You can do it, man. You can do it.